Hello viewers, you're watching Nahoo News Weekly. It's me, Gifty McCondon, presenting this week's news to you. Please stay tuned. As we move on to our first news, the Air Force has announced that it shot down a plane that violated Ethiopian airspace carrying weapons for the TPLF. A plane believed to be the property of historical enemies who want to weaken Ethiopia and have been supporting TPLF for centuries was shot down by the heroic Air Force when it was carrying weapons for the TPLF and violated Ethiopian airspace through Sudan. It was also stated that the army is more than ready to protect the country's sovereignty. Major General Tesfaye Ayelo, head of Defense Force Deployment at the National Defense Union Operation Department, told Ethiopian news agency that the rebel group has been making high-level military preparations for the past several months and preparing its forces for battle since the last 2 weeks. TPLF opened fire on August 24, 2022 at 5 a.m. in areas on the right and left side of Qobo, Mount Zobel, Bisober, and Takulesh, breaking the ceasefire agreement. TPLF opened fire on August 24, 2022 at 5 a.m. in areas on the right and left side of Qobo, Mount Zobel, Bisober, and Takulesh, breaking the ceasefire agreement. The government's communication service announced that the TPLF launched an attack on Wednesday, August 24th, at the dawn of the Eastern Front in the direction of Bisober, Zobel, and Takulesh at 5 a.m. The communication statement said that both the group's attack and the statement it issued after is a clear indication that they were preparing for the harassment in advance. The statement reminded that the government has been taking measures to end the war in the north that it has been forced into. It also mentioned the measures taken by the government after the TPLF was pushed out of most of Amhara and Afar areas that it had invaded. The measures included avoiding entering the Tigray region while the army and logistics are at full capacity, establishing a separate ceasefire and creating a favorable environment for streamlined and uninterrupted humanitarian aid to enter the Tigray region, releasing prisoners on the grounds that it will open the door to peace, putting the Peace Option Committee into operation, and fully setting a clear direction so that peace options can be fully utilized. The statement mentioned that the essential basic materials had been transported to Tigray, and the government was to start work through a third party by repairing the facilities destroyed by the group. Although the TPLF had made repeated attempts in the south of Tigray, the government has foiled their attempts, saying that the main solution is the path of peace so that the issue does not get worse. The statement said that the entire security force are successfully repelling the attack from the rebel group in a coordinated manner. It has become clear that the emergence of the international actors from their slumber is part of the propaganda campaign to accompany the war preparations. The government urged the international community to put a strong pressure on the TPLF to stop the war in order to save the youth of Tigray. The government has called on Ethiopians in the country and all over the world to stand together to resist the attack of this force to destruction and neutralize the destruction attempts of this rebel group, which has clear aim of disintegrating Ethiopia. Realizing that the problem of all Ethiopians can be resolved only through peaceful means, it affirmed that the government firmly believes that peace is the first solution. However, it was stated that if the TPLF continues with its harassment, the government has legal, historical, and moral obligations to save the country and will be forced to take the necessary steps. In order to do this, the government and the security forces are being vigilant with all their abilities. The Ministry of Defense urged the immediate cessation of negative attempts to report or fan the current situation of the army with unverified information and rumors. According to the statement issued by the ministry, the public's support and participation should be strong, stating that it firmly believes that the defense force is essential to effectively fulfill the mission of protecting the country's sovereignty. In the Ministry of Defense's statement regarding current affairs, it recalled that Al-Shabaab, which has infiltrated the eastern part of Ethiopia with the intention of creating a clear danger, has been destroyed in terms of human and material power, mentioning that in the northern part of Ethiopia, the TPLF is also spreading the word of war. The statement recalled that the TPLF spokesperson have been accused of slandering the Ethiopian army in their recent campaign. It also mentioned that while there are those who recognize the challenge and the enemy's plot and agenda in the media, social media reports and content creators are receiving the negative accusations in an inappropriate manner as a means of income generation on social media, while there is a war raging, putting the country's peaceful existence in question. Therefore, it strongly urged the social media bodies to refrain from reporting this negative activity, knowingly or unknowingly, as legal action will be taken on those who endanger the security of the country by broadcasting the army's movement and promoting the enemy's agenda. The statement added that the army will resist any attack with determination and caution. As we move on to other news, an industrial park is going to be built in Addis Ababa city at a cost of 7.7 billion birr. It was said that the steel and wood industry cluster to be built in Akaki Qalliti will be located on 93 hectares of land and will cost 7.7 billion birr for its construction. The contract signing ceremony of the small and medium manufacturing industry cluster construction project in Addis Ababa city was held in the presence of the mayor of the city administration, Ms. Adanech Abeebe. It was mentioned that when the industrial cluster is built and starts providing services, it will create job opportunities for more than 18 to 20,000 youth, adding that the industrial cluster has a great role in the development of the city and the country. Ethiopian coffee won the Cup of Excellence, which was held for the third time in Ethiopia. Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority said our coffee wins again. Our farmers have also won and have become the pride of Ethiopia. The authority has announced that the highest score has been recorded for the first time in the quality of this year's Cup of Excellent Tasting 2022 competition, adding that 1 kilogram of coffee was sold for $884.10 or 47,236.23 birr in an international online auction that took place. This is an amazing price for an Ethiopian coffee, according to the information from the authority. The Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority thanked all parties who made it possible to register this success. It was said that 17 billion birr was collected from the people for the construction of Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam in 11 years through bond purchases and donations. The Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam Coordination Project Office, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, Development Bank, Ethio Telecom, Addis Ababa City Renaissance Dam, Public Coordination Office have all asked for the people's participation to be strengthened. During the 11 years of public participation, 17 billion birr has been supported through bond purchases and donations. It has also been stated that farmers and herdsmen contributed 121 million birr in money by carrying out watershed development work. It was mentioned that the success of the construction of the dam is due to the support of the people in terms of morals, knowledge, money, and energy, and commitment of the government. The construction of the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is expected to be completed in the next 2 years. The National Education, Assessment and Examination Service has announced that the necessary preparations for the 2022 Grade 12 National Examinations have been made. According to the Director General of the service, Dr. Eshatu Kabede, the exam preparation is being done with great care with the help of technology so that the efforts of the students can be measured to be free from the risk of security problems. He also said that the work has been done to increase the number of test codes for the effectiveness of the test, starting from the selection of the test site. Following this, he stressed that students should make the necessary preparations and work to get the results of their own efforts. The Director General urged those who put out wrong information to put psychological pressure on students to refrain from their actions and stated that legal action is being taken for this, adding that the students and parents should get information only from the institution and other reliable sources. The information we received from the Ministry of Education indicates that the Ministry of Education is preparing to give the 2022 national examination for grade 12 from October 10, 2022. As we move on to our final news, it was announced that Ethiopia handled 7.9 million tons of dry cargo through Djibouti port in 2022 fiscal year. Ethiopian Sea Transport Logistics Service Organization has given a press release on the 2022 annual events and 2023 fiscal year plan. The Ethiopian Sea Transport Logistics Service Company announced in its statement that it provided 7.9 million tons of dry cargo service through the port of Djibouti in the fiscal year of 2022. It was also explained that the company is able to handle this cargo service by transporting incoming and outgoing cargo by sea, transporting cargo between foreign ports, transporting containers and vehicles to the country by multimodal, transferring goods by unimodal, and handling containers and vehicles at domestic ports. In spite of the problem of world trade imbalance observed in the year, the organization was able to show good performance in the 2022 fiscal year in terms of facilitating trade. This was Nahoo News Weekly. Please stay tuned to remaining programs on Nahoo TV. It was me, Gifty McConnell. Until next week, have a good time.